Thank you for visiting our website, healthyfamilylawgroup.com. I want to ask you 4 questions to help you determine whether or not we are the right divorce attorney for you. I will tell you that divorce only gets worse if you hire the wrong divorce attorney. So you need to make sure that your divorce attorney is the right one. And look, I understand that divorce is one of the most difficult things you will do in your life. And if you're like most people, you didn't plan on divorce. You're probably also wondering what will happen next. You've also asked yourself, what will happen to my children? How am I going to pay my bills? How will I tell my friends and family? And maybe, just maybe, how are you going to make the pain you're feeling right now stop? Okay, here's the 4 questions. First question, what do you need to happen to make your life better? Now that might be a weird question from a divorce attorney, but let me explain what that means. Most people, when I ask that, have a knee-jerk reaction. They say, well, I want the house, I want the kids. That's going to make my life better. I want my soon-to-be ex out of my life. That's not quite what I mean. Let's dig a little bit deeper. This is probably the most important question you need to ask yourself when you are considering hiring a divorce attorney. Because if you don't know exactly what it is that you want, it's going to be hard for you to determine whether or not you've gotten it. And you're not going to be happy at the end of a divorce regardless of the outcome, regardless whether you got the house and kids, because you haven't decided what it was that you're after. For example, we had a client once who came in pounding the table saying, I want full custody of my kids, or I want a 50-50 plan. They've got to be with me all the time. Well, we talked to him a little bit. We found out that he was a long-haul trucker. And in fact, he was out of town driving a truck for weeks at a time, or a week at a time, and just wasn't there. And so who would be taking care of the kids? Well, it wasn't going to be him. And actually, part of his plan was, well, when I'm out of town, again for weeks at a time, my mom's going to take care of the kids. Well, we had to have a talk with him. Not only is that a bad idea, it wasn't going to be healthy for the kids. They needed to be taken care of by either him or by their mom, who he admitted was a good mom and took care of them. We talked to him a little bit. It wasn't just, hey, forget it, bucko, your idea is bad. But we found out that what he was really worried about was losing the respect of his parents, or for other people to think that he was a bad father. So we were able to work with him once we understood what his real concern was, what was most important to him. We were able to work with him to find a plan, to decide on something that would allow him to be with his children the entire time he was in town. So that we were able to negotiate that agreement so that even though he didn't get a 50-50 plan because he wasn't in town half the time he was in town, he was an important part of his kids' lives. And he was able to call them the entire time from on the road. So this was actually a great outcome for him and his kids, and worked out really well for him. But it was only possible because we were able to identify, working with him, what it was he wanted most. So we find that most of our clients, when we dig down, what they want something that falls into one of 3 categories. These categories are respect, inclusion, and purpose. So that, and when I say respect, what I mean is respect from other family members, respect from kids, respect from people at church, respect from friends, respect from people you know at work, all those things, so that people continue to hold you in a higher regard and continue to believe that you are a good person. And believe me, when you start a divorce, that can start to weigh on your mind. Well, what will people think of me? So we need to have a plan to make sure that is taken into account so that we can make sure that we do things in the right way and in the right order so that you can maintain that respect for all those people that are important in your life. By inclusion, I mean that you are able to continue to be part of a group. And usually this is some kind of group that is a very important part of your life. So this might be a church setting, might be a social group. I've had people who want to make sure that they could continue to be hockey parents because hockey is important. I've met people who wanted to make sure that they could continue to coach their kids in whatever sport they were in. And that was an important thing. And until we figured out what kind of inclusion that they wanted to be, what kind of group they wanted to be in, we didn't know. We didn't know what strategy it was. So that's an important thing to consider. What is it that you want to be part of when everything is done? What do you want to be part of? We had a client once who was really sad at the prospect of divorce because they had a good relationship with their mother-in-law. They thought that they would lose that relationship. Well, working with this client, we found a way that she could continue to have a good relationship with her mother-in-law, can continue to use her for daycare, meet her socially, and continue to be friends, despite the fact that she was divorcing, her mother-in-law's son. It worked out. We could maintain that relationship because we could determine what kind of inclusion we wanted to maintain or achieve. Purpose means that thing that drives you, that thing that gets you up in the morning. And believe me, divorce is going to challenge that. Do you see yourself as a good parent, someone who does the day-to-day care of your children? Do you see yourself as someone who is a successful business person? What is it that drives you? What is it that motivates you? If you can identify that, working with us, if your concern falls in this purpose category, we make sure that we can maintain that purpose, that identity, so that you can continue to be, for example, an important part of your kids' lives, an important member in your community, in your social groups, an important business leader. Those are all things that are important to people so that they can continue to have that sense of purpose and that's not taken away. And that's a big concern a lot of times when the divorce is going to threaten those things. Look, divorce brings up a lot of scary issues, a lot of threats. We help our clients ensure that those things that they value most, those things that deep down are most important to them, are protected. That we work with you to find a strategy, to find a plan that protects those things. That we go about the divorce in the right way so that we can get those good results for you, measured by what you want to achieve. Give us a call today, 509-866-4842. We can't start helping you until you contact us, make an appointment. We want to help you. Okay, I'm going to ask you, here's my second question. Now that we've identified what it is that you want most, why don't you have that now? What is stopping you from having that thing that you want most? Chances are your soon-to-be ex has something to do with what is preventing your happiness. Look, I get that. That's why you're talking to or looking for divorce attorneys. But let's look beyond your soon-to-be ex. That's an easy scapegoat. Let's look internally. Is there something about the way things are going in your life, something about the way you're approaching things that's stopping you from reaching those goals? Maybe it's fighting all the time. Maybe it's you come home and you're just too miserable or too exhausted that you can't face it. Or maybe Maybe the prospect of going home keeps you out late or keeps you at the office, so it prevents you from having a relationship with your kids. Look, there's lots of reasons. There's lots of hurdles. Maybe it's you don't know where to start on a track to get a healthy family, on the track to get the divorce, to start the divorce process. Maybe you've heard that divorce is so awful that it will only make things worse. Maybe you've heard that divorce will cause you to either lose your business or it will cause harm to your children. Now, I'll tell you, all of those things, and I'm not going to lie, all those things are possible if you go about divorce in the wrong way. All of those, your worst nightmares can come true. That's why it's important that you are able to talk with your divorce attorney about what your concerns are, about what's preventing you from reaching your goals, and about what would be a successful outcome for you. For example, do you realize that some children benefit from divorce? Children need three things. They need to have love, they need to have security, they need to have self-esteem. Love comes from you, and it comes from your soon-to-be ex. They need that. It also comes from family members. It's that inward, that thing that helps them feel like they are part of a family. Security comes from knowing that tomorrow they're going to have food, they're going to have a place to live, knowing that they are going to be taken care of. And self-esteem really builds out of that, feeling that they are valuable, recognizing their own worth and their own value. Things that harm that value are fighting, calling your soon-to-be ex bad things, and having those same things hurled at you. Parents who fight, especially in front of their children, or even that maintain an atmosphere of tension, tend to have children who pick up on that. Divorce is a process where you hit reset, that you create an environment that maybe you're no longer living with your soon-to-be ex or the other parent of your children, but you can now provide a home where in your home that they feel that love and security, that self-esteem, and in your soon-to-be exes they can feel that as well. Maybe you're not so good as a couple, but you're still good parents, just not at the same time or in the same space. So that children can benefit if you go about it the right way. Same with your business. Being taken away, being distracted by your relationships and your troubles at home are going to detract from your ability to run a good business. So all those things are going to get in your way, but you can have success if you go about divorce in the right way. We believe that people are most successful in reaching their goals when they have a healthy family relationship. If you're considering divorce, it means that you don't have that right now. Through the divorce process, you can create a healthy family relationship, a healthy family environment for you, for your children, for everyone. And you can then have a better future. Look, contact us today to get started. You need those things in your life. Call us. Let's see if we can help. 509-866-4842. Or you can email us, info@pnwfamilylaw.com. Third question. What resources do you have available to accomplish your goals of respect, inclusion, or purpose? Some resources, if you haven't thought of it already, are going to be family and friends. People you know and who love you and who support you. You need that kind of emotional support when you're going through a divorce. And really that's going to come from the loved ones in your life. It's also going to help you grow closer to them and maintain healthy relationships with them. Look, another aspect, okay. You might also be able to find that kind of support to help you get through the divorce from groups on Facebook. There are many groups of people who support each other going through a divorce. We have a Facebook page where we post videos to help you understand the divorce process. Or you can find people in your community and groups where you can be part of something bigger, maybe a service-oriented group like Rotary or Kiwanis, something that will help you orient yourself in a healthy direction. But I think maybe asking that question, you also thought about what are your resources when it comes down to money. I won't lie to you, some divorces can get very expensive. And one of the root causes of an expensive divorce is going to be fighting. Fighting between you and your soon-to-be ex is usually rooted in fear. It's fear of losing those things that you value most, fear of losing things like, and we've discussed it, respect, inclusion, and purpose. Of course, some things are worth fighting for. But we will work with you to identify what things are worth fighting for and what things are not worth fighting for. Knee-jerk reaction of a lot of people is to push your soon-to-be ex's buttons and cause them to get very angry. And you might have heard that traditional divorce is basically mudslinging. Dig up as much dirt as you can and then duke it out in court. It doesn't have to be that way. In fact, if you start with a good plan in mind, you can control the costs of your divorce. So there's two big tools that we use to ensure that our clients are able to control their costs. One is what we call a strategic divorce plan. And so the steps and the costs and the time involved are part of your strategic divorce plan. We give that to you. We present it. We say, if we're going to do this, it's going to cost this. You look at that and you say, that fits in my budget, let's go ahead, I'll find the money, let's do it. Or you say, whoa, that's too much, I don't want to do that. We give you the option before we just start working. We then adjust the plan if we needed, and we make something that works for you that will still hopefully reach your goals. The second tool that we use are flat fees. Flat fees allow us at the beginning of a case to say your case will cost this much from beginning to end. That means that our clients can go find the resources to fund their case in one go. They know they have a dollar amount and they know what it is. They know what they need to ask friends or family for financial contributions. They know what to do to get a loan from a bank or whatever it is to be able to fund their case. We also work with people to find other resources that they might not have thought of. So all those things help our clients to then work through and make sure that they are pooling all their resources, that they're gathering that to go forward. The only way that you can find out if there's a path forward for you doing these things is by giving us a call. 509-866-4842. You deserve to be respected, you deserve to feel included, and you deserve to live a life of purpose. Everything gets better once you get started on the divorce process. The worst day in your life, our goal is that the worst day in your life is a day, maybe the day before you hire us, and things start to get better as soon as you hire us, because you will get a plan, you will get stability, you will get in control. And that leads me to my fourth and final question, and it's very simple. Do you want us at Ashby Law to help you? If the things I've explained sound like what you are looking for, what are you waiting for? Let's get started. If you need to find out more about us, you can look at the videos we made on Facebook or YouTube. You can look at our website, pnwfamilylaw.com. But I know that right now you are hurting. That's why you're looking for a divorce attorney. The day you hire us, things will start to get better. We can make a plan together. We can put you back into control. Give us a call, 509-866-4842. We have someone who can answer phones 24/7, even on holidays. When you call, they will set you up with an appointment so that you can come in and interview us and ask us more questions, find out if we have the right kind of attitude, the right kind of spirit for you, and it'll give us a chance to meet you and determine whether you are the right kind of client for us and that we can get started. We believe that everyone deserves a healthy family. If that's your goal too, give us a call. Get in contact with us. Let's get this thing going. I hope to see you soon. Thank you.